Comparatively speaking, Mitch Keller turned in his best outing in quite some time Tuesday night. He pitched into the sixth inning. He struck out seven batters. He got into a nice little groove there after a rough first inning. But I look at the outing as a whole, and I still see a lot of red flags. The biggest being, he still does not have that sinker. Good morning and welcome to Offbeat here on North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf and this is a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates. Mitch Keller went into Tuesday having gone 3 straight outings without making it 5 innings. And the last time he had done that was his final starts in outing, because one was out of the bullpen, since he added the sinker. Since that start at Dodger Stadium where he just went at it. He's like, this is going to be a big part of my arsenal. Deal with it. That Mitch Keller, who for the 3.5 years after that start was in the top 15 in WAR and innings pitched for a starting pitcher. Someone who was an all-star in 2023. Someone who became the highest paid pitcher in franchise history in 2024. That Mitch Keller. Do you remember him? Because we have not seen him a whole lot in 2026. And Tuesday night, whenever you look at those last 3.5 years, Tuesday night was not a good start. And I'm even going to take that qualifier away, just in general. Mitch Keller did not do enough on Tuesday night. But he did pitch into the sixth. He did shrug off a really ugly first inning. He got into rhythm where he was getting innings completed in less than 10 pitches. And he goes into the sixth, and, it was just like a little cheap home run at the end that if it didn't hit the wind stream in, minor league park, maybe it's just a regular 360-foot flyout. And, he gets maybe through 6, and you're like, okay, Spencer Horwitz, it would have been a hell of a play, but he did have the ball in his mitt in the first inning. Like, there is a scenario where it's like this turned into a quality start for Mitch Keller. There is that path. I don't think he executed enough for it. And I don't know if this four-seam heavy approach is going to work for him. Now, he's always had the four-seamer. The four-seamer was the bread and butter for his first couple years in the major leagues. Even whenever he added the sinker, like the four-seamer was more the pitch to get whiffs, get strikeouts. He was pitching off of that more times than not. But the sinker, it was a great add, not because it was this unbelievably good pitch, but it elevated other stuff. Primarily the sweeper. The pitch that he got the most strikeouts with last year. The pitch that he got the most strikeouts with this year entering play. Like, that is his strikeout pitch. And it's a pitch that's set up by his sinker. The spin mirrors, he tunnels it well. If he's able to locate that sinker in the zone, batters will chase the sweeper out of the zone. Mitch Keller has not been throwing sinkers in the zone this year. I wrote about this for Book Rule Bucs. I would recommend that story. Read that, because a lot of what I'm going to say is from that, but I'm going to contextualize it further of what we saw Tuesday night. Because on Tuesday night was the first time in a long time where I really felt like, you know what, Mitch is really pitching off of the four-seamer, and it's impacting the secondary stuff. Mitch Keller's on the air. His number 2 pitch is his sweeper. It's the pitch he gets the most whiffs with, the most strikeouts with. Okay, he's got a pitch off of that. He threw 11 in 96 pitches. He threw more sliders. He threw more curveballs. The curveball does tunnel off of the four-seamer. The slider, maybe not as much, but it's more gyro spin. He's going to get more downward movement on it. It pairs better with the four-seamer than the sweeper, which is going to get the more horizontal movement. So he is working north to south a whole lot more. And again, second start in the row, we don't see him throw a changeup. Cutter really wasn't part of the game plan, but this time around, especially left-handed hitters, Kurtz in the first inning, that first at bat, the number of breaking balls that he threw, I think was eye-opening. Like he was willing to work differently against left-handers. We know he's had his problems against left-handers, and last year it was the changeup that he revamped. He got the better movement profile. He was attacking with that. Threw it more for a bit this year. He's ditched it of late in favor of the cutter. I really don't like the cutter. I don't think it's going to serve him well, but it pairs better off with the four-seamer. Kind of like this gyro slider, which is going to get a little more downward movement than going east to west. That'll pay a little better with the four-seamer. The curveball, north to south. There's very little east to west in his game anymore, and it's really just the cutter, and even that's just going to be cutting in mostly the left-handers. Not the best type of movement. So I see a pitcher who isn't using his full arsenal. Keller threw 10 sinkers, and a couple of those were just not competitive. It was not a factor in this game. And by extension, the sweeper wasn't much of a factor. He did get one strikeout with it, but one whiff, one called strike. Like that's not what your strikeout pitch should do. And whenever you have that nightmare first inning where he walks three batters, it's like he needs to be able to throw more breaking balls in the zone. The curveball isn't something that he lands in the zone enough, in my opinion, for that to be a primary breaking ball. The slider, he can throw a little more. If he wants to lean in with the slider a little bit, that was kind of the guy that we saw going into 21-22. Like, okay, if you want to attack that way. But I just see half of his pitch mix right now. And he doesn't have his best strikeout pitch, and he doesn't have the pitch because he doesn't have the sinker. He needs to support that pitch, have it set up with the sinker. And he doesn't have it, and we saw it on Tuesday of what just the pitching off the four-seamer Mitch Keller looks like. And yeah, we saw some good moments in there. But at the end of the day, 5 1/3 innings, 5 runs, 4 earned. We're going to take a quick break, throw it over to Cody, and we'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack hydration sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way for you to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. The Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. My personal favorites so far have been the almond butter chip and the iced tea lemonade hydration mix. It's just really full of flavor. I love starting my day with it, and I couldn't imagine starting my day with anything else other than IQ Bar products. Right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Lord knows I've talked a lot about this bullpen. And that's what makes getting quality starting pitching even more vital right now. Keller did not provide that on Tuesday. And yeah, the Pirates made it a ball game again. thanks in large part to Brian Reynolds' night. But I look at the starting pitching because that was supposed to be the catalyst of this team. And Mitch Keller was supposed to be a big part of that. And right now, his ERA sits at 5.25. It keeps trending in the wrong direction. And I keep seeing a pitcher who is not rectifying what's going on. Because in 22, adding the sinker, that was gutsy. He was facing his issues head on. Whenever he would get into lulls, the last couple years, he and Oscar would go into the lab. He would come up with something. He would use his legs better. He would use his pelvis better. He would use mechanically how he wants to use his pitch mix. You could see a tweak, a change, and I do see a tweak and change right here. It's with the pitch mix. And it's the first time in a long time where I see development from him. And I'm like, this is the raw. You're getting colder. He needs that sinker. He needs that sinker not because he's going to throw it 60% of the time. He needs it because he needs to throw it 20% of the time to set up the sweeper so the sweeper gets chases. It's way down on chases this year. He is not going to hit the same strikeouts as he did last year with that pitch. He's not getting as many chases, as many whiffs, as many strikeouts. Everything good about that sweeper is not being set up properly. And it'd be one thing throughout this stretch if he was just still going headstrong with the sinker, hoping that even a mediocre sinker could set up a really good pitch. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing him revert back to, well, we're going to go in with the four-seamer. And I think I would be a lot more willing to be on board with that if he was throwing harder than 93. I saw so many 92s, 93-mile-per-hour fastballs, and it's like, can you really set up with this? Can you really set up all the breaking pitches with this? Can you beat hitters with the fastball right now? I don't know if he can. This is the first time in probably since 2022, whenever Mitch Keller goes out on the mound, you don't really know what type of performance you're going to get from him. Yeah, he's had rough stretches in the past, but like, I, this is a uncharted territory. I've never seen him close. Whenever he's struggled in the past, it was expand, use pitches differently, use body differently, maybe add a new pitch. This really gives the impression of we're going to simplify. We're going to try to get back to the fastball, which I isn't a bad thing on paper, but it doesn't work as well whenever the velo's down and you're going to be alienating your best strikeout pitch. He allowed 8 hard hit balls on Tuesday. That's a lot of hard contact to go along with a lot of walks. That's not a recipe for success. This was unquestionably his best start that we've seen in weeks from him. And that second through fifth inning, yeah, there was a lot of hard contact in there. Yeah, some of it just went right to infielders. He maybe got a little bit lucky, but you know what? Just seeing him on the attack, throwing strikes, it was good to see. It was good to see. But the start as a whole, I don't know. Obviously, the worst part is the amount of runs that he gave up and not being able to go the full 6 innings and make it a quality start or anything. But like, I just see the path that he's going down right now. If he continues going down and leaning in on that four-seamer and the cutter to left-handers and hoping that he gets enough chases with the changeup or with the curveball, excuse me, and hoping that the slider can get as many whiffs and strikeouts as the sweeper did, even though it's a different movement profile. There's just too many ifs. There's too many ifs that could really be non-factors if he just got the sinker right. And I know that's easier said than done. But that needs to be the first, second, and third priority right now. That pitch makes every other pitch in his arsenal better. And while he's having command problems, part of that is also he's not getting chases. And whenever you're not getting chases, you have to look at what's different. And there is one clear pitch that's different. Thank you so much for listening to Offbeat here on North Shore Dive, presented by FanDuel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you find podcasts, or check us out if you want to see my smiling face. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucs.